Have you ever wondered if loneliness could be more than just an empty space in your life? If it could be the start of something beautiful? In the small town of Willowdale, surrounded by rolling hills and whispering forests, a young woman named Love pondered this very question. The town was alive with its usual charm: red brick houses lined with picket fences, a bell tower chiming the hour, and the warm laughter of neighbors sharing stories. Yet, despite the town's idyllic setting, Love often felt like a shadow, unnoticed and unconnected. On an overcast morning, Love sat on a bench in Willow Park, staring at the pond where ducks glided effortlessly. Her coffee had grown cold, untouched as her thoughts wandered. Her parents had moved to a nearby city, her childhood friends had scattered, and her job at the bookstore was fulfilling but lonely. She wondered aloud, "Is this all there is for me?" Just then, a small child ran past her, chasing after a paper airplane. His laughter pierced the silence, and Love watched him, captivated by his joy. For a moment, the weight in her chest lifted. "What if I've been waiting for someone to fix my loneliness," she thought, "when maybe I need to fix it myself?" Love's question stayed with her long after she left the park. The next day, she decided to take a small step, a walk through the town square, a place she usually avoided. The square, bustling with life, reminded her of what she lacked. But this time, she wanted to challenge herself. As she wandered past market stalls brimming with fresh produce and handmade crafts, Love noticed an older woman sitting on a bench near the fountain, knitting a vibrant scarf. The woman's presence was calm yet magnetic, as if she held some ancient wisdom within her. Love hesitated, but then approached the woman. "Excuse me," she said softly, "do you mind if I sit here?" The woman looked up, her face breaking into a kind smile. "Of course not, dear. Please, join me." The two sat in silence at first, watching the world go by. Then the woman introduced herself as Eva and asked, "What brings you out today?" Love hesitated, then opened up. She spoke of her loneliness, her fear of being stuck in a cycle of isolation, and her longing for connection. Eleanor listened intently, her knitting needles clicking softly as Love poured out her heart. When Love finished, Love paused, then said, "Loneliness can be a heavy companion, but sometimes it's our greatest teacher. It shows us how to be with ourselves, how to listen to the quiet within. And when you learn to walk alone, you'll find you're never truly alone." Love frowned. "But how do I even begin? It feels so overwhelming." Eva's eyes twinkled. "Start small. A smile, a kind word, even just showing up like you did today. Small steps lead to big changes." Encouraged by Eva's words, Love began taking those small steps. She smiled at strangers during her morning walks, joined a local book club, and volunteered at the library for their children's reading hour. At first, she felt out of place, but slowly, she began to notice changes, not just in how others responded to her, but in how she felt about herself. One day, while shelving books at the library, a little girl named May tugged at Love's sleeve. "Can you read this to me?" she asked, holding up a brightly colored book about magical forests. Love hesitated, but then smiled and sat with May. As she read, other children gathered around, their eyes wide with wonder. For the first time in years, Love felt a deep sense of belonging, not because others sought her out, but because she had shown up and offered something of herself. Over time, Love's circle grew. The members of the book club began inviting her to coffee. The children at the library greeted her with excitement. Even the barista at her favorite cafe started remembering her order. But it wasn't just about the connections Love was forming with others. She began discovering new passions, like writing short stories and tending to a small garden on her apartment balcony. Each small step she took brought her closer to understanding Eleanor's words, "Carry your own light." Months later, Willowdale prepared for its annual Harvest Festival, the biggest event of the year. The town square was transformed into a wonderland of twinkling lights, hay bales, and the sweet aroma of caramel apples. Love decided to bake pumpkin muffins for the event, a recipe she had perfected during her newfound love for cooking. As Love set up her small table at the festival, she felt a familiar flutter of nerves. But then she saw Eva, sitting on a bench with her knitting, and the sight filled her with courage. "Selling muffins, are we?" Eva teased as Love approached her. "Yes," Love said, laughing. "And maybe sharing a little of my light." Love winked. "That's the spirit." As the evening went on, Love's table became a hub of activity. People praised her muffins, stayed to chat, and shared laughter under the festival lights. For the first time, Love realized she wasn't just a spectator in her town, she was part of its heartbeat. When the festival ended, Love stood at the edge of the square, looking out at the glowing lanterns reflected in the fountain. Eva joined her, resting a gentle hand on Love's shoulder. "See," Eva said. "You've walked your path, and now others walk with you. But remember, it's not about the crowd. It's about the light you carry within." Love nodded, her heart full. "Thank you, Eva. For everything." Eva smiled, her knitting needles resting in her lap. "Thank yourself, dear. You had the courage to start." Moral lesson. Walking alone can lead you home. The story of love teaches us that loneliness, though painful, is not a dead end. It's an opportunity to rediscover ourselves, to learn how to carry our own light, and to connect with others in meaningful ways. It all begins with a small step, a smile, a kind gesture, or even just showing up. These small acts of courage have the power to transform not only our lives but also the lives of those around us. So, if you're feeling alone today, remember love's journey. Take that first step, no matter how small, and trust that it will lead you to something beautiful. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Together, let's carry our light into the world.